our thoughts and feelings are our own and are not representative of Electronic Arts as a whole or anyone else.
Once again, it's time for the Team Lift podcast with your hosts, Brandon Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Let's go ahead and get right into the show. Okay, so we're just getting into this. There's no sugarcoating it. We're just going to get into this. One of the biggest stories coming out of Comic-Con, and it just really started getting any kind of like, what's today's date? So today is Friday, July 28th. So about July 27th on Thursday, this story started coming out. The story is that they've announced at San Diego Comic-Con, DC announced some films that they want to work on. So we knew a bunch of these. Batgirl was announced. The Green Lantern Corps movie was announced. And, it's going to be a buddy comedy. We'll see how that works out. But the thing let's just get into this. The Flash already has a movie, and it has a subtitle called Flashpoint.
Yeah.
You got excited when you heard this.
Yeah, so, let's say they actually go with the casting.
Okay.
From Batman v Superman.
Right.
We know from Flashpoint from the comics that Bruce Wayne is dead. Mm-hmm. Bruce Wayne is the one that got shot by Joe Chill in the alleyway. His parents had to deal with the death. Mm-hmm. His mother becomes the Joker.
Exactly.
His father becomes Batman. And he's not just Batman. He's like original 1930s Batman running around with fucking guns shooting people. He's also a heavy drinker.
Popping some pills.
This is Batman, like, if Batman was broken. Everything in Flashpoint is broken. Everything is just fucked.
Okay, so let's break this down. We know that the film was announced, Flashpoint. Let's really, for most people, I think they don't read the comic book. So let's just say people don't read the comic book. Let's break it down. So here's what happens. Flashpoint, Barry Allen, if we read it, had realized, hey, I can run back in time. I've always been able to run back in time. I've always been able to do some pretty kick-ass stuff, whether it was running into different timelines, running into the future, running into the past. Barry gets this crazy idea, hey, I'm going to run back in time and I'm going to save my mom. She's not going to die.
Same exact premise as the Flashpoint episode from season 3 of The Flash, right at the very beginning of the season.
Right. So this is a great idea, man. But as we both know in the comic book, great ideas usually have a really bad habit of sucking. So he runs back in time, and what ends up happening is he changes the entire freaking universe.
So that one little act of him saving his mom keeps him from becoming the Flash. It also changes the future for Superman. It changes this future for Batman. It changes Cyborg. It's everything. It's like
the entire
full-on
DC
fucking butterfly
universe
effect.
is
Everyone
broken.
just gets fucked.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so excited about it being in the show, and then it kind of didn't.
They didn't do what they could have done.
They didn't do the justice to it that they should have on the show.
Right. And then you're talking about making a movie, a big budget movie, and doing it the actual justice.
Yeah.
Now, here's where that gets crazy. Now, you and I know what happens with Flashpoint. So, one, as we say, let's go ahead and set up what happens. So, Barry does not become the Flash, number one. Bruce Wayne is killed in the alley and not his parents. That's number two. That's the number two big change in Flashpoint universe. Thomas Wayne ends up becoming the Batman, who is a hard-drinking, pill-popping, running around with a gun, killing people. He has no problem killing villains and ending it. His mother goes insane and becomes the Joker. Okay. The Amazons are at war with the Atlanteans. Mm-hmm. And they're about to destroy the world because they're at war with each other. And both of them have no problem killing either. Wonder Woman is like, I will kill, and Aquaman is like, if you're in the seas, that's my territory. You're a ship captain. I don't care. I'll flood the ship, kill everybody on it, and I'll wreck you. Don't come in these waters. That's just pretty much how he goes. Cyborg ends up working for the government pretty much. Superman is missing.
Isn't Cyborg working for Argus? Sort of?
Yeah, sort of. You know.
Something like that. He's working
still
for a
kind of for the
military
government, basically. He's a government lackey.
So if we go by just the casting of Batman versus Superman, we have Lauren Cohen as the Joker.
Because she was Martha Wayne.
Yeah. And we have Negan from Walking Dead.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
As Batman. The comedian as Batman.
Which a lot of people, if you don't catch these references, so Negan, the bat-wielding psycho from Walking Dead, season 7?
6 and 7, I think.
6 or 7, whatever this last season was. Yeah, he's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, amazing actor. He was also in another geek film, one of my favorites, Zack Snyder's The Watchmen. Probably the last Zack Snyder film that was worth the crap.
If you're a Supernatural fan, he was Sam and Dean's dad.
Oh, yeah, he was. I forget he was
way back in the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was cool. This guy's got geek credits, okay? Yeah. He's definitely...
And he's a fucking amazing actor, too.
Yeah, he's on everything that I love. He's been in great roles, but he would be our Batman in this film. If they stuck with what they've already showed us from Batman versus Superman, all right? That's if they stick with it. Hopefully they would stick with it and not try to recast it and leave him as Thomas Wayne Batman. So, but if they don't, I think that's screwed up. Okay. So now that we know this and now that we set that up, you know, where this is going, we're kind of like, let's figure out. You and I got into this idea. So I said something. I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, the idea of a Flashpoint movie technically works as a Justice League 2 film because all the moving parts are in this film. You have to have Cyborg. You eventually see Superman. You deal with, even though it's, you know, Thomas Wayne, there is a Batman, there is a Wonder Woman, there is a Aquaman.
You know what's really going to be weird is if they keep Henry Cavill in the role of Superman in Flashpoint, are they going to do the reverse of what they did with Captain America in the first Captain America movie?
Or they have to make him look weak.
Put Henry Cavill's head on some other person's body?
They would have to.
Would be interesting.
They would have to because, I mean, once again, you've had years to read this freaking comic book. So
yeah,
if this is a spoiler to you, I'm sorry. You should have been caught up by the time you heard that they were doing it on this show. Okay. So the idea is that Superman has been tucked away in a government facility and he never sees the sun, and he's a scaredy cat. He is not for truth, justice in the American way. He's just frightened little boy scared of his shadow that's been tucked away in a government facility for years.
So essentially, like when Flash's mom got saved, it changed something in the timeline which allowed Superman to be abducted from his parents in Kansas and put into a government facility. Presumably they figured out that he's basically solar powered, and so they keep him in the dark all the time.
Right.
So he basically looks like a Holocaust skeleton.
Bro, he really, if you think about it, he reminds me of Barney Fife from the Andy Griffith Show. That skinny, lanky frame. He looks sucked in, almost anorexic in the comic book. It was, and if you've ever seen the animated movie Flashpoint,
I have.
They get it so right.
Yeah.
They get it really right, and that's a great film, and I suggest everybody watch it for even just for a reference point for what we're talking about. But this story came out, and we've seen it start to pop up now. You know, Den of Geek is covering it. Fat Man on Batman, which is Kevin Smith and what's his name? Mark Bernard. Yeah, so even they're talking about it. So now it kind of brought up the idea. You and I kind of took it a step further, and I just said, that's technically a Justice League 2 film. I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just all the same characters from Justice League have to be in this film.
That's the other thing too, is like we're technically making 3 Justice League movies because we have Justice League, we'll have Flashpoint, which is technically like Justice League but through a broken mirror, and then we'll also have a Justice League Dark movie. Which won't have the same cast at all, but it'll still be a Justice League. That's like 3 Justice League movies in a row.
And here's where they get me with this. Because remember they were talking about a Justice League Dark film, which I got excited about. And then they gave us the rated R Justice League animated film, which I was excited about and purchased and owned. Amazing rendition of Justice League. We get Constantine, we had Zatanna, we had Swamp Thing, we get the Dead Man, we get the team that's like the supernatural DC guys.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of basically like B, C-listers and
Yeah,
some D-listers.
if you think about it, Constantine was his own thing when he was over there in their kind of Vertigo series. He was always really edgy and, kind of off in the dark edges of the universe. And when they brought him into the main kind of DC universe, I was real skeptical about it. But they kept him as a snarky, smoking, drinking kind of asshole character, and I grew to love him. And the show did really well with fans while it ran, but it wasn't a hit with the critics, so it's how that goes.
No, I think more of that one was just like the place, the network they put it on was the wrong place.
Oh yeah.
And the people making the show made it really well for what they were able to cobble together with it. But like, had that been like a CW show from the beginning, or had it even just been on another network, had it been on like Fox where fucking, Lucifer's doing really well, it would have been okay. But because it was on fucking ABC.
I thought it was NBC. It was one of the
NBC, ABC.
I want to say it was NBC, but
they're basically
it
the
was
same
a terrible
thing.
station for it.
It was a bad, like, we're talking like, I want to say it was ABC because it was on during like ABC Family shit or something.
Which I don't get,
weird.
because here's my thing. Like, even on NBC, I think Grimm has done really well, has performed well.
Grimm is not like Constantine because Constantine is dark as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, that other show, Grimm, is more akin to like Supernatural, but even lighter. Whereas this is just fucking like grim dark, angels and demons fucking killing each other, and
it's some stuff going on, and knowing that the devil wants you dead, and he has an axe to grind with Constantine. I mean, Constantine was a dark comic book.
It was NBC.
It was NBC.
It was NBC.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and so that's not a good fit for this show or for the subject matter at that point.
Just a small aside. Did you know that fucking what's his name, Castiel from Supernatural is based on Constantine?
I did not. Well, I mean, he seems similar, but I never thought they blatantly would come out and say it.
Well, the creators of blatantly said it, like they both wear the same thing, loose tie,
the crumpled suit, the little London trench coat,
Yeah.
Yeah, I always noticed it, but I was like, they've never come out and said it. But I was just like, so I just thought, okay, kind of they're similar, but maybe technically they looked at that character for reference.
Yeah. It's accidentally on purpose.
Sweet. That's actually pretty badass, which makes me love Supernatural even more.
Yeah.
So I guess here's my thing. Your mind and my mind started running. So we already know Ezra Miller is DCEU is what they call their film universe.
Yeah.
So the DCEU or extended universe is the film universe. That is
wholly separate
from the TV universe.
And even some of the shows in the TV universe are separate from each other. Supergirl's on a different Earth than Flash and Arrow, and Black Lightning, which is coming up, is on yet another Earth.
Let us break this down. That's actually a good thing. I'm glad you brought this up because this is one of the issues. DC has always been known for the multiverse.
Yeah.
It's kind of a linchpin of the whole thing. That there were these different parallel universes.
And there are even characters who are from parallel universes who can't get back. Like Power Girl is from a parallel universe. She's an alternate universe version of Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
that gets stuck here.
There are tons of Supermen. There's like the New 52 Superman. There's the Golden Age Superman. There's
Silver Age Superman. There were all these Supermans.
All of them are all different versions of the same character. There's Superboy Prime, who's technically from our Earth, but he's somehow managed to shift dimensions. But on our Earth, he has no powers. But when he shifts into the other dimension, he suddenly has powers.
Like, isn't he from the 30th century?
Superboy Prime?
Wasn't one of them? Well, one of them was the Superboy. Yeah, our Superboy in the comic books used to go to the future of the 30th century and hung out with a legion of superheroes.
Yeah.
So it's really weird how they traveled the universe. Like, DC was always really weird about breaking their own universe.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they get way down the rabbit hole on all of their continuities. Mm-hmm. And then they decide, okay, we're too far down the rabbit hole. Nobody can follow these stories anymore without buying like 10, 15, 20 years worth of back issues. Let's just make an event that condenses all the universes down and reboots the whole fucking thing.
Which brings us to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And then as that new universe slowly starts to expand and there becomes too many comics again for people to follow, they start breaking them off into other universes, and then they wind up collapsing it all back down again.
Which made no sense. Like, why are we going to... like, Crisis on Infinite Earths was one of the big mega crossover events from my youth. Okay, we're in the 80s. And when you're talking to me about this, you're saying, hey, we're going to get rid of all these other universes. You know, you're going to have the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, and Antimatter is going to destroy these universes, and we're going to condense it down, and we're going to tell some great stories, and this is going to be for reals. Who dies here stays dead. None of those people stayed dead. Very few of those people stayed dead.
Somehow through all of this shit, Batman is still Batman, and he still has the full run of every fucking comic that has ever come out since the 1930s,
which I don't get.
In his pantheon. Like, his pantheon is like, his current shit is so loose that they didn't bother to define his backstory after they rebooted it this last time, to the point where they can literally just say this is canon and this is canon, to just pull whatever they want to, and then say that all of it happened within this like 5-year period right before the comics switched over to the new universe.
Right.
So technically with Batman, everything's still on the table. Everybody else gets rebooted but Batman.
Which is, once again, weird, because Batman had, well, let's face it, Batman makes DC money. He makes Warner Brothers
money. Batman
is
DC money.
I mean, he is. He's the most recognized character. He's the most printed character. He's money. And money gets to keep money.
Did you watch Batman and Bill?
I did.
Oh my God, dude.
Brutal.
Fuck.
If you have Hulu, I suggest you spend time watching this documentary called Batman and Bill. Eye-opening.
Yeah, because there's this section in there where, like, literally right at the beginning of the movie, he's like, I just want you to see this. And he walks over and he's like, this, and he points to like 5 or 6 shelves, like 2 whole rows of book cases where all of these fucking collected volumes are. He's like, this is Batman. And then he goes over for comparison. He goes from about right here to about right here, and he points to 1.5 shelf. That's Superman. And it's just like, Jesus fuck. Like, what the fuck is going on with Batman?
Bro, Batman had so much story.
Yeah.
And some of our most recognized stories, like if you think about it, nobody has a more recognizable rogues gallery of criminals. You know, like if a person who has barely freaking read a comic book knows who the Joker is.
Yeah.
I don't have to go up to somebody to explain, well, have you heard of the Joker? Have you heard of Catwoman? Have you heard of Scarecrow or the Penguin
yeah.
or Mr. Freeze? You know some iteration of their origin story. We could go pull people off the street and ask them who is this person, and they could tell us that story.
If you were between like the ages of 10 and 20 in the 90s, you watched every fucking episode of the Batman.
The animated series was amazing. First of all, let's break this down.
We're digressing like a motherfucker.
We really are,
right
but
now.
it still sets up a story that that's gonna bring this back around. You start talking about Batman in the animated series, which was so freaking popular and introduced characters that they made canon.
With Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn was a character from the
Batman
animated series.
Yeah.
The Royal Flush Gang. That story that they tell about Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It holding her until she passed. That comes from that series. Tim Denny, what he did with that one cartoon series, and we could do a whole show just about that series and its effect on the DC universe to this day.
Its effect on popular. I mean, we would not have any of the Batman Arkham games today if it was not for that show, because the two titular, the hero and the villain of all of those games is the same voice, with the exception of the one that sucks.
Yeah. And what was, and he's not a bad voice actor. The guy's world renowned. Nobody wanted him to be in that game.
Nobody wanted either. So the game that we're talking about is Arkham Origins.
I think that's it.
And they decided that because it was young Batman and young Joker, that they needed to recast both characters. So instead of getting Kevin Conroy and fucking Mark Hamill to come in and voice their characters in their game to make it just a little bit better, they threw them out, got 2 new voice actors for both roles, and then threw out Tim out of the production because he was a part of the writing staff for the other 2 games. Mm-hmm. Like Warner Brothers just fucked that whole thing up, by giving it to their own
Warner
studio.
Brothers.
Anyway,
Warner Brothers has a tendency to screw up their own stuff. Here's my thing. If I write comic books and I'm good at writing comic books, I'm going to stay in my freaking lane. I'm just going to write comic books. Just because I write comic books doesn't mean I could write you a great script. Nor does...
Actually, I think if you... That's the thing is, like, if you write comic books or you draw comic books, you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to film.
Especially if you've written the canon that we got. Now, see, that's where... Here's our thing. Do you need to be the guy that writes the script? Or do you need to at least be the advisor on the set?
I don't know. I mean, Joe Quesada's fucking stepped into the director's chair and directed episodes of Luke Cage. Or it was either Luke Cage or Daredevil that Joe Quesada came in and actually directed. Mm-hmm. And he did that based on fucking Kevin Smith being like, you know, you've written the comics, you've drawn the comics, you are a director, you just need to get in front of a camera. It's just a different medium. Go fucking do it. And then 2 years
Kevin
later,
Smith came in from making films, and then he was writing comic books.
He was writing Batman. He did
Daredevil. A run on Batman. He did a run on Daredevil. He's done some runs, and his run on Daredevil actually did not suck.
Yeah,
it was really good stuff.
So, but what I think the problem with Arkham Origins is just that they had the hubris to think that they knew better than their predecessors.
No, they didn't. And they screwed it up, and the sales proved they screwed it up. And the failure that it was what one of my favorite things I always tell people is vote with your wallet.
Yeah. If
you don't vote with your wallet, shut the fuck up. You can't complain if you don't vote with your wallet.
And then that's the problem with the DC universe right now, with the exception of Wonder Woman, is people... They're of 2 minds. They want DC to continue to make movies, but they don't want them to make shitty movies. But they still go see the films because they want them to know that they want them to keep making them. But them going and watching the shitty films tells Warner Brothers, these films are good. Keep making them like this.
Let me tell you something. I'm glad you said this.
That's what I don't want Flashpoint to be.
I was online last night playing with a friend of mine, and he had the audacity to tell me that he didn't really care about the Avengers film, doesn't really care for, Thor, doesn't care about the trailers, doesn't look impressive to him, DC fanboy, total DC fanboy. I'm all about DC. Now, earlier this week, I made a post on my Facebook page, and it was the 2 opinions. Marvel fans are, I will not watch a DC film because they suck. And DC fans are, I'm not going to watch Thor. It looks too cartoony and unrealistic. And then there's my opinion is, if there's a motherfucker in this film with a cape, I'm watching it. Okay? I'm supporting it. I grew up with the comic books. You want to know what comic books I bought? Marvel, DC, Image. I bought everything. It wasn't like I can't buy that because I'm a DC fan. You know what you are? You're a person that deserves to never have sex with a person. That's what you are, because you're a loser. If that is your mindset that you won't watch a film because it's, I'm a fan of this, you suck at life and you should just kill yourself. Just end it and get off the planet. Don't reproduce, because we need to end you. You're a cancer. Okay, that is my personal opinion. You're a cancer when you come with that kind of stupid ass. It's the same people that go, I'd never play a PlayStation 4 because the Xbox is better. Kill yourself.
I guess I should kill myself because fuck.
Yeah, you say consoles. No. You know what the thing about you is? You say fuck all consoles. You don't pick a choice. You just hate them all, and that you can live. But that's the thing. It's just stupid. It's just so freaking stupid. The thing is, if you're a DC fanboy and you're honestly a fan of DC, you should hate the films that you've seen. Because Man of Steel sucked. It was not a good film.
See, that's the thing is, like, a corporation like Warner Brothers isn't going to look at the ratings. They don't care about the ratings. They care about the bottom line. And the bottom line is fucking Batman versus Superman, like, made almost either it made $1 billion or over $1 billion worldwide, even though it's a fucking horrible piece of shit. It's just like fucking the movie Monsters universe that they're trying to put together with the fucking Mummy and fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and all that horse shit. It did terribly here. terribly, but those motherfuckers in China ate it up. And so they're going to continue to make those fucking shitty movies, regardless of whatever anybody here thinks, because it's sold well in another country.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I think Warner Brothers heard the critics and they heard the fans, because the smartest thing they did was they brought Jeff Johns in, who took on the role of Kevin Feige in the DC cinematic universe. And then he said, no, we're going to stop the bullshit and we're going to tell the right stories. And putting him in that position and making him the guy that, these stories are passing through, I thought was the greatest thing DC ever did. And to back up my claim that I thought it was, Suicide Squad was a better film than everything that had preceded it.
Suicide Squad would have been a better film had the fucking studio given the final cut to the director.
I agree 100% with you on that, but still, it was still better than Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, it was.
It was a better film than the one that preceded it. And Wonder Woman was the best film, bar none.
Because it had the least to do with fucking Zack Snyder.
Two things happened. We put a fucking director in the chair who knows how to direct a film, and we let her make a film. They got the hell out of the way.
Actually, they almost fucked it up.
They could have.
Because they originally didn't want to put the fucking No Man's Land scene in the film. The studio didn't understand why it needed to be in the film, and they wanted her to cut it. And she's like, no, fuck you. I'm putting it in the film. If you don't like it, you can suck my dick.
But once again, a director, they got the fuck out the way and let a director make a film. At the end of the day, that's what happened. And hopefully, you know what? I think they learned. I really think they learned it. Because what did they do? They fought like hell and poured money at this woman to come back for part 2, and they're staying the hell out the way. Now, there's some other news in this. There's some other news that we got out of this. It's a rumor right now. But I'm going to tell you something. Don't think this is a rumor. It's the people that leaked this story online are not the kinds to do, clickbait rumors. Word is that Zack Snyder's stepping away from the whole cinematic universe.
Yeah, that's the best thing to ever happen to movies.
Like him and his wife are both stepping away. Now, we talked about it on the show. They went through a tragedy I, as a parent, would never want to go through, and I would never wish that on my worst enemy as a parent, to lose your child to suicide. I don't wish that on him. I hated hearing that story. My heart broke for him, and he said he had to step away. I thought, that's a great thing. You should step away. I did not know that it was going to benefit the universe that much that he stepped away. And then, here's the thing. He handpicked Josh Whedon to come in and finish Justice League. And then immediately there were reshoots.
I don't think it was a matter of handpicking. I think it was a matter of, we already have this guy on retainer to do another movie for us. He's already directed a film of this scope and magnitude. Give it to him. I mean, if anybody's going to come in and fix a movie like a big superhero ensemble film, it's somebody who's already directed 2 big superhero ensemble films, who does a really good job of directing a fairly large cast in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, Firefly, fucking Buffy, fucking Dollhouse, like all of them are ensembles. Are all casts where you have a lot of moving parts and everybody has a role to play and everybody helps. It's not just like we're following this one guy or this one person. We're following everybody.
Josh Whedon and then there were the reshoots. Let me ask you this. I want your personal opinion. Out of San Diego Comic-Con, what did you think of the Justice League trailer when you saw it? I got hyped. I'm going to just be honest. Loved it. I know I probably shouldn't get excited, hyped. But I got excited.
I'm cautiously optimistic, just the same way that I was with fucking Wonder Woman. We haven't seen hide nor hair of Superman in the film at all. Mm-hmm. He's not in the posters. So my guess is he's going to be surprise ending kind of thing.
If you watch that trailer and Alfred says, he told me you'd come, who's he talking to? Martian Manhunter or Superman? Who else could he be talking to?
If it's Martian Manhunter and it shows up and he's Chris Pine, the whole world's going to go insane.
First of all,
we've talked about this already.
We've talked about this, but we've never talked about this on the show.
So our original topic today
was Flashpoint. And that's really how this is the beauty of Flashpoint, because there's so freaking many moving parts to it, just in the idea of what Batman brings to that. And you can't put Batman in it. You have to have Thomas Wayne. You can't have Ben Affleck as Batman in Flashpoint.
They would try to do some stupid shit like that and just say he's Thomas Wayne and then just cast him. I mean, I don't know. But there's so many ways that I can see them fucking this up rather than doing it properly, and I don't want them to. It's just like, that's the thing is like, when I hear about a Marvel movie that's coming out, I'm like, yeah, they're going to do the character right. They're going to do it justice. When I hear about a DC movie coming out, I'm just like, they're going to fuck this up. I'm scared they're going to fuck this up. They're going to do something dumb with it.
We've seen them fuck it up so many.
Exactly.
Like, okay, here's my thing. In old people, and that's what I call them, our older fans, I'm 46. And although I'm 46, I don't look back at the Christopher Reeve Superman movies with rose-tinted glasses.
I love those fucking movies. They were great.
Let me tell you something.
I still like them.
That first one was good. That one with Richard Pryor, come on.
It had Brainiac in it, for fuck's sake. They didn't call him Brainiac, but that was Brainiac.
It was a bullshit movie at the end of the day.
I know.
I know when you're fucking me. I mean,
it was fun though.
Yeah, I mean, but that's it. That's all we can say. They were fun movies. They were so 80s. They sucked. As a comic book fan, I did not get the movies I wanted or deserved as a comic book fan until I was older.
Trying to make Superman at a time when you don't even have the technology to make me believe that a man can fly is dumb. Yeah. But that fucking Richard Donner's fucking soundtrack, motherfucker.
Oh, come on, bro. That soundtrack was amazing.
I get misty whenever I listen to that shit now.
Bro, that soundtrack's amazing. Bro, I'm going to tell you something. I played the game Lego Batman 3, and Superman's in there as a playable character, and every time he comes in, dun, 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 I go, hell yeah, I'm about to tear something up, baby.
if in Justice League, if he comes back and that, like, if they show like the scene, like if they do that thing where they're like just like panning a camera across the graveyard, and they like get over to fucking Superman's grave and it just kind of stops for a second and then starts going, and then that fucking Richard Donner soundtrack comes up and all you see is just an explosion out of the fucking ground with Superman, I'll fucking die. I'll die. That's it. I'll just be like, Jesus, fucking take me now. Cause seriously, that fucking soundtrack is amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, that soundtrack is amazing. It is. That's the ultimate Superman song. It is. It's just like you hear that song and you know Superman's coming in to tear some shit up. He's about to do his thing. You know it. That song is synonymous with it. It's like when you hear dun 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 dun, dun and you know Indiana Jones is about to tear something up. Okay,
so we do the Flashpoint and we take that Richard Donner soundtrack and we slow it down and we make it really mournful, and then we play that whenever fucking Superman's on screen with his fucking emaciated body and shit. And you save it. You save that shit for that moment when he flips the switch and just starts fucking people up.
Like when he realizes that sunlight hits his body and man, he just starts never going to be a slave again.
Yeah.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm about to whoop that ass. That is the greatest part of that is when Superman realizes, I don't have to be afraid and you can't hurt me. And then all of a sudden that switch flips and you just know, y'all gonna pay for it now. I got to get my good chair and get some popcorn ready for this one. Yeah. I don't know, man. I know they could screw this up. But the title alone, and here's the thing. The title alone hyped me up, The Flash, Flashpoint, as a movie, because now you got to deal with these multiverses. You're introducing something that's a linchpin to the DC universe. Man. You can show us this alternate timeline of these characters.
You want to make me fucking rock hard for this fucking movie? This is how you end this film. So if you've never watched Flashpoint before, Flashpoint ends when the Flash winds up getting his powers back, running back into the Speed Force and intercepting himself and knocking himself out of the Speed Force before he actually creates Flashpoint.
Right.
So even though the whole thing actually happened, the whole thing didn't happen. And that's how they resolve the paradox. That's how they clean everything up. Nothing actually changes in the DC universe. It's just this little adventure that Flash goes on. Mm-hmm. Instead of Ezra Miller knocking himself out of the time stream, you have Barry Allen from the television show do it.
Grant Gustafson.
Grant Gustin, yeah. You have
Gustin,
him.
yeah.
You have him do it, and then
So Grant Gustin knocks Ezra Miller out of the time.
It would be poetic because in Flashpoint in the show, Flash from another alternate Earth, who is basically this played by the same character that played his dad, Jay Garrick, knocks Grant Gustin out of the Speed Force to try to stop him from creating Flashpoint. And so you have these successive generations of the Flash interacting with one another. You have Golden Age Flash knocking Silver Age Flash out of the Speed Force. You have Silver Age Flash knocking DCEU universe Barry Allen out of the Speed Force to stop all of it in service of stopping Flashpoint from happening.
First of all, that would be...
And then you've connected all the universes.
You told me this twice, and I still love that story both times. It has not lost the impact of the idea yet, and that's my second time hearing it. Because here's our thing. We know there's multiple universes on the TV show, so you're just establishing the TV show.
DCEU is one of the universes.
We're just one of the universes, and they're all DC, and all these stories could interlink at any time. We could mess around and bring anybody from that TV show over into the screen.
And then you talked about fucking doing Crisis on Infinite Earths. At some point, if they wanted to, they could bring Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and Black Lightning into the DCEU temporarily during one of those films.
Bro, hold on. Let me explain this. If we wanted to, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that puts us with Jonah Hex, Constantine,
Legends of Tomorrow,
The Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, Green Lanterns, the entire Justice League DCEU.
And you could finally have that shot of fucking Green Arrow, Green Lantern together.
Oh my God, my mind exploded right there. If I saw Green Arrow standing next to a Green Lantern in a DC film, look, I know I'm not the only person that would get, I might cry. I seriously would get a nerd heart on for that one. Just so much power in just that one scene, because that's something, it was kind of like there's a scene, if you watched Age of Ultron, when Vision had Scarlet Witch in his arms and he was floating down gently to the earth with her in his arms. That's a powerful scene for a comic book nerd from the 70s and 80s. Because I remember that relationship, how it existed, and he was an android and he fell in love with this woman who was a mutant. I remember that. And so to see it in film and to kind of know, are they going to touch on that? Are they going to talk about that? It was awesome. Nerdgasm, bro. So, yeah, I would love to see him do this.
So I have completely off topic, but I wanted to bring this up.
Okay.
So the next season of Jessica Jones is in production right now.
Right.
And the villain for that season is going to be a mutant. At least the character originated as a mutant. So I don't know if they're going to do the fuckery of what they did with Scarlet Witch and with Quicksilver, where they were created using using the mind gem, or if it's finally gotten to the point where Marvel's negotiated to bring mutants into the greater universe, into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they're doing Legion on television with Fox, and it has a Marvel logo in front of it. The Marvel logo was in front of Deadpool.
Cloak and Dagger's getting it.
Deadpool. Cloak and Dagger is getting it, and they're mutants as well. So is this one of the other signals that the mutants are coming, and that we're going to see them as a part of Phase 4 once all of this shit blows over with fucking Infinity War? Because we're also getting Inhumans.
Which, I'm going to be honest with you, I liked that trailer, yet some of my boys hated the trailer. They were like, it looks terrible. It looks like something from Sci-Fi Channel. And I was like, did we all watch different trailers?
I've never seen something on Sci-Fi with that good of fucking CG in it.
Thank you. I was like, what trailer did you watch that you thought that looked like a sci-fi movie? Because I still remember Sharknado 1 through 5. I know what sci-fi special effects look like.
Well, that's not even sci-fi, really. That's just the movie house that they contract all those movies through.
Yeah, it's still
That's not sci-fi creating that content themselves.
Nah, I still like, bruh. I don't. When you say sci-fi special effects, or it looks like Sci-Fi Channel special effects, I really took like, I kind of got in my emotions about that. I was like, bro, we're not watching the same thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
We definitely didn't watch the same thing.
So, let's see. Just for reference, The Asylum is the name of the company that produces all of the Sharknado films. The Asylum basically, they just make knockoff movies of popular films. So, like, they're responsible for, like, Transmorphers. And,
They also did Atlantic Rim.
yeah. So they just make knockoff movies. Sharknado just happened to be a fluke that made a shitload of money. And so they made, like, 5 of them.
And they all do well. That's what I never understood, is that every time they've aired one, I actually checked on this. The ratings are through the roof. And I watched the first one.
That's fucking
and it
retarded.
Broke Twitter. I remember watching it and tweeting about it while watching it when it first premiered. And I'm just like, it's like a car wreck, but I can't turn away.
Yeah. That's what a good, bad film is like that.
I could not turn away. Like, I had to watch this film to the end. And here's the thing. When it ended, I looked at my wife and I said, I feel bad for saying this, but I really like that movie. She said, what? I said, like, one of my favorite terrible movies. It's in the top 5 favorite terrible films. Like, when I say terrible films, I'm thinking like the epitome of terrible films. A lot of blaxploitation flicks. Like Dolomite is one of my favorite films of all time. It was terrible. There's a scene in Dolomite where the boom mic falls down into the scene and you see him look up and then they pull the mic up. And it's been mimicked in movies like Black Dynamite mimicked that scene. I'm Gonna Get You Sucker mimicked that scene. It is so well known a scene. When it happened in Dolomite, it was not intentional. It really was just...
They're just bad at making movies.
They were just that bad at making films, man. They were inexperienced.
See, that's the thing that bad movies have, is a sincerity. So you can't intentionally make a bad film and have it be successful. You have to try to make a good film.
I am trying with everything in me to make a great film.
And it just comes out and it's a
so
fucking
terrible.
hot turd on a fucking sidewalk.
The Room.
Yeah.
Traditionally known as one of the worst films. Have you ever watched it?
I haven't watched it yet, but they're making a film out of it.
Okay.
They're making a film about the making of that film.
Okay, here's the thing. About once a year, Adult Swim would always play that. Like, that was their New Year's Eve. I mean, not New Year's Eve. That would be their April Fool's joke. The Room would play, and it was such a terrible film. They just did this one night. You know, I was like, where's Squidbillies? And The Room's playing. And I went, what is this? Did I change the channels? No, it's the right channel. What is this crap? And then I start watching it, and I was like, this is terrible. What is this? Like, it's... and I kept watching it thinking,
Are they joking?
Is this one of those, like, a long skit of, like, Tim and Eric? What is happening here? I could not figure it out. It was just... And then I ended up watching almost the whole film just like, this is terrible. And I'm sleepy, but I don't want to go to bed. This is terrible. Like, it doesn't even make sense now. Why is he fighting? What is happening here? That was really how I watched the whole film. I must have asked that question 5 million times watching this. What is happening here? It was terrible.
There's a movie that I watched recently. It was actually repurposed and put back out by Draft House Films. It's called Dangerous Men, and it was made by a single filmmaker over the course of like 8 or 10 years. And so the like actress who is essentially like the titular character enters and leaves the film before the film actually finishes, and the film finishes with a guy chasing another guy who's not even in the beginning of the film and capturing him in a blind lady's house. Like, the whole thing is just fucking weird. Like, there's a part where she's like hiding a knife in her butt crack so she can stab this guy who tried to rape her after she tricked him into going to a hotel room by telling him that she was going to sleep with him. It's fucking weird from start to finish, but you can't stop watching it because it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
I'm asking you a favor, and I'm going to ask this favor of you one time.
What?
There's a film called G-Men Forever. Mm-hmm. You find that film, and we're all going to watch it one time.
All right.
Now, here's what it is. Remember them old black and white serials like the Phantom Menace, and the Phantom and
The Phantom Menace?
But no,
Yeah, that was a terrible fucking
that
film.
was a terrible film. That was just terrible. But the Phantom, you
Thank
remember
you, George
like
Lucas.
the old films,
Yeah,
like the
the Phantom.
1930s serial films.
Yeah.
Well, G-Men Forever is all of these films, old black and whites, cut and splashed together, and then overdubbed with the filthiest. It's funny. Just funny. It's just freaking hilarious. We have to find this film and watch it. It is the epitome of bad films.
I'll check it like I Love Video or something. See if
Yeah,
I can
you
track
got to
it
find
down.
G-Men Forever. We're going to watch it.
Anyway, so Flashpoint.
So let's get back into this whole thing with the DC universe, because we get into these conversations, and this is what happens to us every time. Every freaking time we start with an idea, and then it goes off into. And then one time I was with this big girl, and she had no teeth. How do we get from that when we were talking about the Smurfs?
And that was when she took her finger out of my ass.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, what? I thought we were talking about the Smurfs Lost Village. We were. Let me tell you why this plays into the story. So this girl was the great-great-granddaughter of Peyo, who created the Smurfs. Ta-da! So we got to quit this. We got to really start staying focused, okay? But this is the thing. We got into this Flashpoint thing, and we got all these ideas, and we know there are all these moving parts. Overall, when you heard it, I'm going to be honest, you got to tell me you had at least a little glimmer of hope.
There was. I quickly crushed it, but there was.
You allowed yourself to have a glimmer of
Yeah,
hope.
that's the problem.
That's not bad, man.
No,
it just means that
it's
they
terrible.
could do this film justice.
They need to do two films without fucking it up, and then maybe I'll let it.
So we're gonna give them Wonder Woman just one film. So they just need one more.
There's one. They need one more, and then maybe on the third film I'll get hype. Maybe.
So we already know
If they don't cast Idris Elba as fucking Jon Stewart,
he's not going to be John. He's not going to be.
don't you fucking play with my emotions,
He's
god damn
not
it.
going to be. I'm just listening.
Why the fuck not?
Because they've already decided they want to go with what's his name.
They haven't decided shit about Green Lantern.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't. They haven't decided shit about Green Lantern. They just announced that they were working on it. That's it.
What kills me is if they try to go back to Ryan Reynolds, I'm gonna pass out.
They aren't going to do Ryan Reynolds again.
The Green Lantern Corps looking like 2020 film. David S. Goyer and Justin Rose are writing the script, with Goyer also producing alongside executive producers Jeff Johns and John Berg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you want to hear the short list of actors?
Idris Elba, Idris Elba, Idris Elba, Idris Elba, and then the last one is just Idris Elba.
It's supposed to focus on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, right?
Yep.
Listen to this list for who they want. Tom Cruise, Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal,
No.
Armie Hammer, the freaking Lone Ranger, Bradley Cooper, Joel McHale. What in white gentrified hell list is that?
That's not a list that came from anybody in Hollywood. That's just that writer's fucking been smoking some really stupid shit.
No, let's look at this. Who put this story out? Bro, this is from January 2017, and it was also on The Wrap. That was their list that they came up with.
Yeah, well, they're fucking wrong and stupid, and it doesn't matter because none of it's real.
You don't want it to be.
No, I know it's not, because that list doesn't make any sense. I can break it down for you if you really want to.
Okay, did the first Green Lantern film make sense? No, it
Okay,
didn't.
no. They're not going to use somebody like fucking Tom Cruise for any of those roles because he's too fucking old. He's like almost in his 60s. If they're gonna look to cast somebody that fucking old to play Green Lantern, they should at least go with the smart choice, which is fucking Captain Malcolm Reynolds, because he's already played the Green Lantern a bunch of times in the cartoon series or in the cartoon films. So they're not gonna go with somebody as old as him. What was the next one on the list?
Yeah, this is a terrible list. Nothing about this list.
What was
makes
the next
me
one on
happy.
the list?
Go Ryan Reynolds. They won't bring him
Ryan
back.
Reynolds. They're not bringing him back. Keep going.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
They're not going to do him.
You have no reason. You just say they wouldn't do it.
They're not going to do him because, one, he doesn't look like the character, and two, he's too serious of an actor for that fucking role.
Armie Hammer.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
He was when they did. God, I hate mentioning this film, The Lone Ranger, with Johnny Depp as Tonto.
Yeah, they're not using that guy either. He's been in a fucking box office flop. They're not using him.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper's already busy on Guardians and a whole bunch of other projects.
Joel McHale.
Who the fuck is that?
Used to do the Talk Soup.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, look him up. Just
Joel what?
Joel McHale. MCHALE. You'll see him. You'll know him as soon as you look at him. That dude.
Nope.
As soon as I saw his name on this whole list was a big bowl of nope. But you know what it sounds like? Hollywood on that bullshit.
I'm telling you, that list did not come from anybody in fucking Hollywood.
It's a terrible list. But I can see them doing it.
I would rather them cast somebody who's almost completely unknown than any of those motherfuckers. You know what would really give it to fucking DC or to Marvel though? If they cast fucking Thor's brother, he's in real life the actor's brother. What's his name?
Liam Hemsworth?
One of the Helmsworth brothers. One of them.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah.
You know what? That's really not a bad choice right there. And I'm looking at this picture of it,
and it would fuck with Marvel so hard.
Because Chris would be over there, being Thor, and Liam could be in DC, being Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
he does look a lot. He would make a freaking good-looking Green Lantern,
especially like after the success. And I'm telling you, that movie's gonna be fucking amazing. That Thor Ragnarok is gonna be after the success of that movie. If they cast his brother in that role, they'll get asses in seats just to look at his brother.
They're gonna cast Tyrese Gibson as Green Lantern.
No,
Tyrese from Fast and the Furious is going to be our Green Lantern.
No,
I don't want it to be.
You know who I want it to be, and this would be hilarious.
Who?
What if it was Ice Cube as Jon Stewart? It's percolating in the brain.
No, man. My brain broke a little when you said it. I was like, Ice Cube is Jon Stewart?
Why not?
No freaking way.
Why not?
No.
What's wrong with it?
Okay, yeah. You know
what's wrong with it?
Then you might as well put Armie Hammer in there as damn Hal Jordan, because that's about how much damn sense it makes. That's a big bowl of no for me. That's a worse no than Tyrese. Green Lantern Corps starting freaking Tom Cruise and Ice Cube. And I'd be like, I'm not watching that. That's garbage. Just give it a 2 and let's just send it straight to VCR. Just send it straight to VHS. Don't even put it on Blu-ray.
What if it was Tom Hanks and Ice Cube in a buddy cop Green Lantern film?
At that point, I'm going to go to my knees and I'm going to say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for disappointing me once again in this life. Take me now. Because that is the worst thing that could ever happen to the universe.
What if, what's the guy from Get Out?
Oh, the black kid, Daniel, is it Kaluuya?
Yeah. Jon Stewart?
Oh. Would you get mad if it was Michael B. Jordan?
Not really.
Michael B. Jordan as Jon Stewart?
It wouldn't be bad, but I don't think it would be good either. He's not a good fit for comic book roles.
I still think he's going to be a pretty badass Kilgrave. I still swear to God he's going to blow everybody's damn mind in that role. You cannot be in Fruitvale Station and be in Creed, and in both he freaking kills those roles, and then think he ain't going to come over there and just rock shit as Kilgrave. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's going to kill it as Kilgrave.
I know. That fucking hair just bothers me, though.
Shit, bro, that hair don't bother me. He reminds me of like he should have been in that band Living Color, bro, because that was the look black dudes were rocking in the 80s in that band. I know where he's inspired from. I love it. I can live with it. Man, I'm still thinking, now we really are off target. What? Mahershala? What's his name?
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali, which was, what was his name in Luke Cage? He was Diamondback.
Yep.
He was Diamondback on Luke Cage. He was in the movie Moonlight.
He's on House of Cards, Benjamin Button.
Yeah, man, that's a fucking bro. Okay, all jokes aside, that's a hell of a casting for a Jon Stewart. That voice, he damn near got the voice for it. You put a little gray streak in that hair.
So what I wish that they would do is instead of doing Jon Stewart and fucking what's his name,
Hal Jordan.
Instead of doing them two together, I would want Jon Stewart and fucking The fuck is his name? You know, whenever I'm trying to think of a name, it just escapes me. But
Oh my gosh,
if
I
I'm
know.
not trying to think about it, then it just comes to me. It's the other Green Lantern from Earth. What's his name?
So you're either thinking about Kyle Rayner.
No.
You're not thinking about Hal Jordan.
No.
You're thinking about Guy Gardner.
Guy
then.
Gardner. Yeah.
The loudmouth redhead with a bad attitude.
Yeah. So him, and then the perfect casting for that role is fucking Dean from Supernatural.
Who are you talking about?
Dean from Supernatural. Jensen Ackles. His character on Supernatural literally is.
Now my mind's percolating. So, okay, what about this? So we get Mahershala Ali to be our guy. Okay, we go, hey, Jon Stewart, Mahershala Ali. We get Jensen Ackles to play Guy Gardner. Okay?
He was almost Hawkeye.
Who would we have as Hal Jordan?
I don't want Hal Jordan. Fuck Hal Jordan.
But who would you have? Pick a Hal Jordan. You can go to anybody in Hollywood and they listen to you.
I already told you earlier.
Who?
Nathan Fillion.
You just talked about Tom Cruise being too old and you want Nathan Fillion?
That I want Nathan Fillion because he's already been Green Lantern multiple times.
How old is he now?
I mean, he's old.
No, I think he's like only 46. Isn't he born in 71? He and I should be the same age.
Yeah.
If he was born in
I
71,
wanted him to be Captain America, to be honest. It'd be hilarious because he's Canadian.
He could always be North Star. If they ever want to do an Alpha Flight movie, yeah, he'd be great. Dude, I don't know. Now you got me my mind buzzing.
For me, it would be Nathan Fillion, Idris Elba, and then Jensen Ackles.
There are so many people that want Idris Elba. Idris Elba wants to be it.
Yeah.
He's already said he wants to be Jon Stewart. And that all they got to do is ask him. And then people say, well, can he do the American accent? Bro,
Yes.
he could do whatever accent he wanted and I still would watch it.
He can do the American accent just fine. He's been an American in several different fucking television shows
And I
already.
cannot wait to see him in the Dark Tower because I got so excited watching that trailer. Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, really.
Now look, him as Jon Stewart is cool. But right now, if I can't get Idris Elba, I'd take Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
I'd take the kid from Get Out, or I'd take Mahershala Ali. It better be one of those two black actors. But I'll take...
Chris Pine might be a good one.
Chris Pine would be an amazing
But they
Hal
already
Jordan.
used him. That's the problem. They already used him
And what?
in Wonder Woman. Unless we're going to somehow say that he's like a descendant of him, that Hal Jordan is a descendant of fucking his character and somehow. And that's why they look the same.
Man, that sucks. I wasn't even thinking about that.
The Rock.
The Rock is going to be, we already know, going to be Black Adam.
Yeah.
We pretty
They've
much
been
know
saying that shit for years and it still hasn't fucking coalesced.
it's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen at this point.
I think they're still talking about it and when he's going to come in, but I think they've decided it. Is that Michael Jai White?
Yeah.
Black Dynamite himself, Spawn himself?
Actual martial artist could really whoop somebody's ass in real life.
I like how they got that picture of Common. Common as bald-headed, Jon Stewart.
Please no. I just think that would be a bad fit.
You know who I want? No.
Not Terry Crews?
Not Terry Crews either. No. But you know what? I do want... Did you ever watch the second John Wick?
Yeah.
I do want to see Common get his own film, a spinoff of John Wick, because he seemed like a pretty badass assassin in that movie. I liked him in that, man. What was his name? Cassian?
Yeah.
Boy, he kicked ass in that film. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
What about Lawrence Fishburne?
Bruh. I'm so pissed with you bringing that into this conversation. And speaking of, I saw your little smart ass comment on Facebook too about my picture, and you said, he looks like Lawrence Fishburne playing something. You tied all the people playing coach.
I said Lawrence Coach Fishburne.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I hate you so much. I saw that. I said, oh, this smart ass got me. All right, man, look, let's get out of here for today. You gave me something to think about. What we need to do is we still haven't done this. We need to do a postmortem from San Diego Comic-Con, but I think this story had so much leg to it, we wanted to talk about it. But I think we've talked it enough. I want to actually, let's kind of pull a list together. Let's pull out our favorite films that we saw from Comic-Con, and let's break down those trailers. That sound like a winner to you?
Yeah.
Cool. That's what we'll do next week. All right, everybody, you know how to get a hold of us. You can hit us on the email, and we're always listening. Man, our email's been blowing up lately, and I want to thank everybody that's writing us. Oh, also, I want to say this. For the 21 people who live in Japan that have been listening to this Team Lift podcast, thank you from the bottom of our heart. We don't care if you've been listening to these shows or if you're listening to our anime shows. Thank you. You 21 people are amazing. And to all the other hundreds of people that are listening to the show across the great U.S., thank you, because every week you let us come in here and live this dream. But those people in Japan blew our socks off when we found out that we had listeners in Japan, and thank you for listening. So definitely reach out to us, write us if you ever have questions. We're always reading, we're always listening. You guys have a wonderful week. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Team Lift podcast with your hosts, Brendan Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Join us again next week as we discuss more topics from geek culture. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page at GoTeamLift, as well as our personal pages at Coach Silky and at Bizide. You can direct questions or comments to us on our Twitter page, as well as find links to all of our social media outlets. Thank you for listening. See you again next week.